It's al-Orq time! Hello everyone and welcome back to Crusader Kings III. My name is al-Orq and of course I'll be your host today. Last episode we got quite a lot done despite the fact that we've only played for about 3, almost 4 years in the actual game. But we got ourselves sort of established here in the beginning as the Orc Horde. And at this point, we've already gained 7 followers. And off screen, I made a couple of decisions, a couple of changes. So I'm just going to quickly run through those before we continue. So first things first, had to think about Vahab because, of course, he did kill Menusir last episode. He killed our friend, and it was an honorable duel, so I can't really be mad at it. But I feel like there's something that we gotta do, especially since, if you look here, I actually set him up with Menusir's his widow, right? And so now Naz is married again, although this time now to Fahab, and I'm hoping that because he has the intelligent trait here, they'll be able to pass that on to their future children, even if it ends up being the lower tier of it versus the intelligent. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But in exchange, I feel like it's only fitting if we, give him some kind of punishment here. So given the fact that he is our stooge, I think we better do this as a bit of recompense. 20 prestige, absolutely worth it. So for doing so, we get this this modifier here, Humiliated the Stooge, which decreases the amount of stress we gain and increases the amount of stress that we lose. And we'll lose some stress. We actually have a little bit of stress here, so this is worth doing. And we'll gain some dread. Currently we're at 32. And that looks like it's still building up, because our natural dread is 55, and it just takes some time to build up, so that will go up for sure, and this will actually kind of bring it closer, depending on how much we get. So, yeah, I think it's only fitting that, we gave him a wife, but, he did also kill our friend. So look at that. 65 stress, so that's all of that gone. We gained 10 dread, so we're that much closer to our baseline. And yeah, we're a little bit more stress-free. Unfortunately, that does mean that Wahab does not like me as much. Look at that, we got minus 25. That will improve as time goes on, but then also, consequently, he has this plus 32 for being recruited. That's also decaying as time goes on. So we'll definitely try to do something to maybe sway his opinion. Let's have a look. He is paranoid, ambitious, and sadistic, so the last thing I want is to, have him plot against me. Just want to see here. 26% chance that I sway him. Yeah, that's not worth it. Instead, we'll focus on trying to find someone else that we could potentially sway. Maybe a spouse of some sort. So I think the first thing that we're going to do in today's episode is visit the castle and just see what we have around. We could increase the prowess by 1. I don't think we need to do that at this point. We're generally more capable than most of the people that we're going to encounter. So we've got Hisen Giscani here, who's 80 years old, has 1 prowess, and is mostly a learning focused character. I don't know what he's doing here. But Faramez, he's actually pretty decent. Sadistic, wrathful, and cynical, so he and I would get along pretty well. He's got 18 prowess, 17 in martial, an aspiring blade master, and he's a skilled tactician. So, yeah, overall, he's pretty solid. He is 90 gold, and I think that, that might actually be worth it. Let's go ahead and recruit someone, and that way it brings us up to our night limit, because I think we had 7. Was it 6 or 7? Yeah, it was 7. Alright, so that's going to fill out our full complement of knights, and that as we recruit more people, those who are better will push out those who suck. Alright, let's go ahead and go to the tavern, try the story, and we just got the temporary bonus there. Anyone that we could recruit here? We've got Mashad, not particularly great. Ruzarin, who is got good stewardship, but she is, yeah, almost 10 years older than us, which is unfortunate. If she was a bit closer in age, I would consider recruiting her, although we can't even afford her. Interesting. All right, never mind after all. So what else can we do? Should we try to get some supplies? Yeah, I think we can. I think we can square that away. So 76% chance I say I can take the supplies or the entire stall. Your call. So 76% chance we just kind of intimidate him and he'll give us some provisions, and it worked. Beautiful. Let's get out of here and take on our next contract. And I think for the first one of the episode, we're going to do one that is not a criminal contract and instead is a traditional, hey, the nearby ruler is actually paying you to do something that they need you to do. So we're going to be hired muscle. This is very close to us. Apparently, there's a high chance of danger. So we'll see if anything happens as we travel. I like that you can see the little guy walking across the map. All right, let's get on with our task. So, Navid and Kurushe. Actually, that reminds me of one thing that I forgot to mention. I assigned Navid and Kurushe as my bodyguard, both of them as my bodyguard, because I felt like, hey, they needed a role in the camp. That was going to be it. All right, so a well-oiled machine. Our little forest of tents putting itself up every few evenings is something we've gotten very, very good of late. First one, then another, with people and tools spreading out down the lines to help their neighbors in a model of speed and efficiency. Even Naz and Kavus, neither of whom have historically seen eye to eye, are helping one another, laughing like old friends as they go. A place for everything, and everything in its place. So, unlike the last time we've seen an event like this, now we're actually seeing a positive event. And we can say, do you need another hand? That would cause us to spend 75 prestige, but would increase both of their opinions by 30. Wouldn't be helpful for Kavus because he's already maxed out, but, it would boost Naz. I could say, don't like that, move them apart, and they would both be annoyed with me. And I can just say, hey, good to see those two getting on. Yeah, I mean, that to me seems like a reasonable response, just because, first of all, it's the same result as do you need another hand, but you also don't you don't lose a prestige. And honestly, it's not really any of my business. If they want to be friends, they can be friends. That is perfectly fine. The more harmonious our camp, the better off we'll be. So now back to the task at hand. Faramez here is going to be, looks like a pretty good addition to this particular job. Vahab is exceptionally talented as a lookout. Very nice. Alright, so as you can see here, we've got 7 champions. These are all of our primary followers, and their fighting abilities range from 18 down to 5 here with our unfortunate caravan master. So as we recruit more people, Yazid and Vahab will likely get kicked out, like I said, in favor of the stronger fighters, so they may not ever actually see combat as time goes on, because, well, we will have the ability to gain a few more knights, and I think that's probably the route we're going to go, as well as getting the camp upgrades that we need. Speaking of which, I just want to see what we have available to us as options. I think I'm going to go ahead, since we have exactly 60 gold and we're doing a job at the moment, we're going to get the Roaring Campfire. That also increases our knight count, as well as our knight effectiveness, up by 2%, and then also +1 to our men-at-arms regiments. At this point, we can't even build 1 men-at-arms regiment. So this would allow us to at least get something started in terms of a military, even if it wouldn't be much. Alright. These phase times are really quite short, so this is quite an easy job. And look at that, we are already at the max. We have 99% success chance, and sure enough, there we go. Gain some extra money, some provisions, and the guy likes us a little bit more. So that was a quick and easy job. Let's take a look at what else that we have. Oh, what's this? Ooh, this event. Okay, I like this event. An unusual encounter. Avoiding the harsh midday sun, we have made temporary camp inside a peculiar and very damp cave. Did you hear that, my boss? Vahab seems ill at ease with our dark shelter. As I turn around, I am suddenly face to face with a young boy who must somehow have walked right past Vahab. Of course he'd be able to walk past him. Look at that. He's just completely oblivious to his surroundings. The startled child immediately vanishes deeper into the caves. Well, of course, we got to follow him. We got a 100% chance to succeed. And we find a kid named Kamran. I think there was another NPC named Kamran in the last episode. So, Khanats of Rikan. We delve deeper and deeper under the earth, leaving the bright sunlit landscape behind for increasingly damp, dark tunnels. As I finally catch up with the boy, I am distracted by a splendorous sight. An ancient system of underground canals extends as far as the eye can see. Welcome, boss, to my very own palace. It is likely to dwarf even yours. Well, yeah, my palace is a series of tents. He looks up at me defiantly, clearly dismayed that I managed to follow him all the way down here. So, I could say, let us dive for the treasure hidden under these waters. 69% chance that we're successful and we find an old artifact and gain 75 prestige. We would lose 38 stress because we're brave, so clearly this is the choice that we're going to go with. And then there's a 31% chance that we find nothing, almost drown, and we become ill yet again. So that would be twice in 2 videos if that ends up happening. Or I can just say, boy, you must learn to respect your betters. So this is also a good option, and we would lose the same amount of stress because of our personality traits. Also gain 75 prestige by default. Or I could say, I can learn something from studying this structure. 59% chance that we gain irrigation insights for 25 years. That's not useful to us because we're not a ruler. And then 75 prestige. I think we go for the ancient treasure. It's a pretty decent chance of success. I want to see what we get. And indeed, we find a sword. Ooh, very, very fun. Alright, so, before we take a look at that, let's read through this event. Danger. Flawed fare. Fahab, of course it's Fahab, is in charge of our food supplies and sheepishly revealed our provisions are now all but useless, having been poorly stored. Patches of mold cover the bread and produce, and we have quickly used up our remaining dried food. The party grows hungry as dusk begins to fall. So, I could say it's just a bit of mold. We lose 200 provisions, 40% chance we get sick. I could say nature will provide for us. It's an 88% chance that we find some forage and nothing happens, which really, it's not really a positive outcome, but it's not a negative one at least. 5% chance we get sick and lose 400 provisions. Or, if we essentially roll a nat 1, then we die and we lose 400 provisions. And I'm not entirely sure what would happen in that case. Do we have a successor? No. So if we died, it would be game over. And that would be a hell of a way for the series to go out, wouldn't it? Let's do it. And of course, nothing happens. Cool. I was a little stressed, but not that stressed. Okay. Finally, alright, before we do this, I said I was going to look at the sword. Let me just put that out of the way. We got a Sasanian sword. Diplomacy per level of fame +1. That's kind of good. That actually bumps up our lackluster, lackluster diplomacy on its own. This is also, despite that it's a sword, it's actually not a weapon, it's a regalia. So we can still find a regular weapon that would definitely boost our prowess by a lot. But yeah, we also get 0.06 prestige per month. That's nice. An additional knights, plus 10% knight effectiveness is incredible. And a little bit of a reduction to mercenary hire cost. I don't know how often we ourselves are going to be hiring mercenaries, but hey, it's a thing. And plus 12 to our attraction opinion, which is nice. Cool. So that's our first regalia. Having a famed tier regalia this early in the game is definitely advantageous. It's not something that you typically get, at least of all something that's good. Alright, my spot. Move your accursed tent, damn it, Faramez! This is my spot, cries Kurashe, disrupting my evening walk. Faramez seems unmoved, simply folding his arms across his chest. It can't be your spot if it's got my tent up on it now, can it? He snarks back. Desperate for a higher authority, Kurashe whirls around to me. Boss, Faraz, please, I beg of you, discipline this wretch. I'm just gonna say, yeah, fuck off. Handle it yourselves. Honestly, not my problem. And we gain a little bit of prestige for doing so. Actually, we're almost, we're say maybe about 30 to 40%, probably 40% of the way towards the next fame tier. So that'll be nice once we get there. Cool. So, as far as our other jobs, I pointed this one out before. This is burn property. I think we're going to do that one last, because I'd rather do this here, uncover secret. I don't think I've ever done one of these before. It's not a lot of money, but it's probably going to be a super quick job, and we gain some prestige and provisions. So, always helpful for sure. Again, super close to us, so it doesn't really feel like it's a huge risk or anything. Alright, classified information. Vali Sebuk Eri suspicions lie upon his chancellor, Darab, so I find myself stalking him through the halls of a mosque. He is clearly deep in counsel with himself. I chance some more steps closer, hiding behind a jutting wall. I can almost hear his whispered words. Whether they're a confession to Allah or just wild muttering, I can't quite make it out. So I could say sidle a little closer, 67% chance it's a success, and it would just guarantee that the contract is a success, apparently, and I would learn of his lover secret. Interesting. Well, how do I have a chance to learn of his lover secret if the game's just telling me that I'm learning of his lover secret? That seems a little silly. Could say perhaps if I were to just pretend I knew. Same chance of success there. It's a combined diplomacy and intrigue challenge. 96% chance here that I just say I've had enough of hiding. And that's, I think, what we're going to do. Yeah, nice and easy. Didn't even have to set anything up. The Shirvani divergence. Small changes in dialect. Okay, so this is a different religion that has just... No, not religion. A culture that has diverged. Interesting. So, these guys are the Shirvani. They are Persians living in Yazidid. Have begun to identify themselves as Shirvani instead. Cool. All right, so that's something we're going to see every now and again is culture divergence. Ooh, looks like there's actually a plague near us. That's concerning. What's this plague called? Where is that information? I know it's somewhere. I always forget. Maybe we're not close enough to it, and that's why it's not visible. But yeah, we're definitely not going to go in that direction. Any other plagues going on? Oh, looks like there's one in... Ew! Oh, poor guys. Poor bastards. I hope they survive. Okay, so with that, I suppose we'll burn some property. What are we going to get? 102 gold? That's not bad at all. Oh, but we're still traveling, so we gotta wait. Alright, cool. Now we can take it. A small group travels faster. That's just silly. Okay, so this is not a scheme. We can just kind of do this as normal. So what is this? Incendiary talk. Bomb. Bomb seems a pleasant place. A shame to visit it under such unpleasant circumstances. Close to nightfall, a small band of my followers and I await in the shadows, not too far from our target. A small but thriving workshop, fresh painted sign hanging outside to indicate patronage. Sheikh Ismail didn't see fit to explain whether his victim, Anushirwan, owned the place, had interest there, or merely held some affection for it. Soon enough, it won't matter either way. I could say stay quiet, we're away as soon as the fire's taken. So that's a 74% chance that it would succeed and we would preserve our anonymity, gain a weak hook on Sheikh Ismail. Yeah, so that's normal. 5 experience in bandit. We have a little bit there, so that would get us closer to that first level. Okay. Could instead say usual pairs all. Cover the exits, keep your nerve. This would reveal our identity, but would be easier, it says. Oh, let me get the tooltip back up. Hate when it does that. Alright, so this is guaranteed to succeed. He would gain the right to imprison me, so we definitely would have to get out as soon as we did that. We would get more experience in bandit. In fact, that's quadruple the amount, so I might just go for that, honestly. Don't really care about the notoriety. That's kind of the whole point, isn't it? Nah, we're not doing anything stealthily. We're just going right in, guns blazing. A good plan begets swift victory, and the burning husk of the little workshop stands, a crumbling testament to that. It takes a strong stomach to butcher in cold blood, but the promise of silver makes many things tolerable. Yes, indeed. After we've cleaned out the inside, we heap the bodies, lay a fire and flee into the night. No witness proves brave enough to intervene, and Sheikh Ismail will doubtless be more than happy to hand over our pay. Cool, so that tops up our provisions. We have 178 gold. And so before we do anything, let me visit the camp, or let me go to the camp menu. We're still building the campfire, so nothing that we need to do at the moment. Cool. Well, after doing that, let's go somewhere else. We're not going to go to the west, so why not go to the north? Let's see. Where are like the important locations? I forget how you search for that. Because as we travel, one thing I want to start prioritizing is visiting significant locations, as you get a lot of really nice bonuses for doing so. Here we go. So, if we go to the north, we could get some stewardship experience learning. There's Marshall over here, so that would be good to visit, although that would bring us very, very close to these guys. And now, I think this is actually where the culture started diverging, is it not? Maybe I read that wrong. Oh, it's right here, right? Yeah, these are the Shirvani. Okay, cool. Let's actually take a look at the culture map super quickly, because I never really touched on this in the last episode. But yeah, there's plenty of mechanics that are going to be going on in the background, and I'll just kind of do a little zoom out here to show you that there's dozens of different cultures all throughout the map. And at the moment, yeah, it looks like our first cultural divergence happened right here in our little neck of the woods, which is pretty cool. There is also, this is the religion map, so you can see you have the Muslim world here in southern Iberia, alongside North Africa, and everywhere around us. You've got the Orthodox Christians where the Byzantines are, the Catholics here in Western Europe, and Slovianskan, which I think is a more, yeah, it's an unreformed, more like pagan faith. And yeah, all the other stuff here. We got the Vikings to the north there. All the stuff. So, just a really brief overview. Lots of religions. And just like the cultures, religions will also just kind of pop up as they happen. Who knows, maybe in the future we'll invent our own religion. That could definitely happen. But let me go back to the camp travel menu, because I want to see which locations might be worth visiting. We could go east. Learning 150 Marshall there in Aurora. And then we could kind of snake our way up. There's another Marshall one there. Stewardship. Yeah. Could do that. Just kind of snake our way eastwards and north. And just kind of go from there. See where life takes us. So, real quick, I should have stayed on that menu. I always do that, and it's super silly. So I guess we can stop here in Deboul first. So let's click on that province. And yeah, we'll just kind of move. It's about half of our provisions to get there. Thankfully, we can easily afford that. And we're going to step outside of our home territory, I think, well, not technically for the first time, because we did do that here, but outside of our primary region of the world. All right, Iblis's tithe. Sand is everywhere. I don't like sand. My eyes, my nose, my throat. Even covering my face does little to slow it down. The hellish grit, whipping furious at everything and anything it can. Of course it's coarse, and it's rough, and it gets everywhere. The sandstorm came on suddenly, seemingly from nowhere. Within minutes the entire convoy was engulfed, and now all I can make out of the rest of them are the screams as their supplies are torn loose and carried off by the gale, and whooping coughs where the lungs of young and old alike fail them. All our careful preparations are suddenly in disarray, leaving my followers on the edge of breaking. Alright, so I could say, come on, put your backs into it. 67% chance that we save the day, and every adult follower, which is every single one, would gain 30 opinion of us. 32% chance that the weather would sow too much chaos, and every follower with less than excellent health, which is probably all of them, would have a 50% chance of something. 29% chance here if I say get the gear, go on and move, and that would be the same outcome. So definitely not going to go for that. And we could pray to Allah and hope. Yeah, that's not going to work. So come on, put your backs into it. And unfortunately, that failed. Alright, well, thankfully, I don't think we have any elderly characters with us, right? No one is old. Everyone's like in their 20s and 30s. In fact, we're now in our 20s as well. Happy birthday for us. I kind of missed it. It's been a few months. Alright, the Marshall Contest. Is this the thing? Oh, no, this is a different event entirely. This comes actually from the most recent story pack, where they added a whole bunch of different events in general. The Marshall Contest. As we pass through the market in North Jazmurian, we hear a loud yell coming from a corner behind one of the stalls, where a group of people are watching two men fight. As we get closer, one of them is lifted by the other and tossed several feet away, followed by the crowd cheering and money-changing hands. "Who's next?" the man yells into the crowd, and as his eyes scan the crowd... Ooh, that's a bit redundant there. They land on our group. His face splits into a malicious grin as he looks at us. So this guy here, Mihemed, he's got 21 prowess. He's a giant. Interesting. Okay, he could be worth recruiting if we get that option. Always like giant characters. Otherwise, his stats aren't particularly great. But yeah, he's a good fighter. So he wouldn't be a bad choice for us. So I could say I will do it, and that's probably the choice we're going to go with. Even though it says that it would stress us out, I think that's only if we fail. We have a nearly 80% chance of success. We gain 150 prestige and 50 gold. Could have Firdu's do it, no, and you could just leave. Now, we're going to try. Oh, we actually lost. We lost 5 gold. Gained some stress. That's unfortunate. Hey, that's how it happens sometimes. Alright, danger. Another danger event. Good God, there's so many of these. Sticks in the wheel. Bank! I hear Vahab shout out in panic. Soon thereafter, I hear a loud cracking sound, like that of wood breaking or of my patience finally snapping. I step out on the dirt to see the splintered remains of a wagon wheel. My wagon wheel. God damn it. Vahab, you're just fucking everything up here, man. I gave you a wife. I gave you a position. I gave you 2 positions, in fact, you ungrateful son of a bitch. Alright, well, let's see what he says. I am sorry, my leader. It was my turn as lookout, and I fell asleep at the reins. Alright, we can say, shit, we're gonna be late. And I could say, shuffle the supplies around. I'll ride rough from now on. Alright, well, we'll definitely have to do something about that. God damn it. Alright. Vahab is just a failure to us all. He definitely deserves to be the stooge, even after that bug was resolved and reset his stats. But onwards we move on. Let me just speed this up a little bit. Whoa, did the map just change? Oh, no, we just entered a new territory, and thus it's showing us where exactly we are. Nary a drop. I bask in the desert sun, enjoying but a moment's peace in this hectic lifestyle I've chosen for myself. But then, the sound of snapping wood, a scream, and the splash of water bring my heart to a sink. Seriously? What is my camp doing? These guys are just like... Who did I hire? I thought I hired some good, talented people, but no, I got this guy who's apparently depraved. Alright. The sound of, I see my champion Faramez stood beside the soggy, splintered remains of our water barrel. Apparently, he had dropped it onto some sharp rocks while unloading, and now the last of our water supply is soaked deep into the sand. Alright, so... could say all of this, but no, I think we're just going to raid some local caravans, get some gold, lose some stress. I'm just sick and tired of this. We're going to take we're going to take our anger out on some local villagers. Cool. So we visited the capital of the Sultanate of Sind. That's pretty nice. Apparently his wife is in prison. By who? Sultan Umar of the Habari Sultanate. So, is this like... I guess I don't know what's going on there. Unfamiliar rations. The culture in Dabul is unfamiliar to me, and some of their customs are equally alien. This is proven especially true when Kurashe, acting as our cook for the evening, beckons me over to look at the stewing pot. It's a local recipe, he begins. Supposedly, authentically Sindhi. I was assured so by a passing merchant. I look at the substance with suspicion. Is that stewed vole with parsnips? I could say, what is this muck? Or I can say, well, I'll give it a try. If I find it abhorrent, I would gain the stress back that I just lost. 30% chance, if I say, what is this muck? If I gain the nickname, I would gain the nickname the narrow-minded. I could think of better nicknames. Well, we could try getting the new provisions. Getting the new taste buff would be nice, because that's an additional +1 to prowess for 10 years. That's kind of cool. Let's give it a try. And it's abhorrent. Alright. Apparently we just don't like, I guess it would be Pakistani food, right? Alright. So, let's go ahead and visit the castle holding as per usual. See if we can't recruit anybody. It's a 63-year-old, and we can't recruit him anyway. Genra is 24. He's okay. He's homely. He's a bit unfortunate looking. Holy Warrior, again, not super useful, considering that we're going to be primarily around Muslims, but he is an organizer. That's cool, and I did mention that trait last time. He's a hunter, so that would be kind of cool. In fact, we could do a hunt. That's tempting. I think we might do that, actually. But he's a brilliant strategist. He's got 18 in martial. He's brave, zealous, and humble. Yeah, I could see I could see about recruiting him. And then we've got Adam, I guess. He's a form of Jewish Malabarism. Interesting, a form. He practices a specific sect, and he's the Kochini culture. Cool. All right, actually, I wanted to take a look at the Persian culture because that was another thing I overlooked last time. But yeah, I think, ooh, 69 gold. Are you worth that? You know what? I think so. Come on, Genra. If nothing else, I will get a kick out of looking at your face. Okay, so what else is this? Debul, the bodyguard. Whoa, hang on a second. From the yelling, I pick up the name Shahabuddin, and as the accusatory men depart, I follow Shahabuddin down an alleyway. He immediately starts unloading animal carcasses from a shabby cart, muttering to himself, "One noble loses his life on your watch, and how was I supposed to know the violet Sharbach was..." He slams his fist into the cart, frustrated. The dishonored bodyguard gives me a withered look as I approach. What do you want? I couldn't even keep a flippin' plant alive. He's got great prowess, decent martial as well. He's a logistician, which is nice. He's also a hunter. In fact, he's a venator and is maxed out in the trait. That's actually really good. You don't see that too often. All right. Well, 15 gold that I would hire him and replace Kurushe as my bodyguard. So what's the difference here? Oh, I can just choose this and not have to pay him at all because of my prowess. That's kind of cool. Alright, yeah, we're going to do that. So, sorry, Kurushe. I think Shahabuddin is going to, is going to do this as well. It's a meritocracy around this camp. The orcs value skill and tenacity above all else. Let it be known. So, let's go to the tavern. We just get the bonus again. Alright, we got some ladies here. They're both 38. Wow, Saad is got better prowess than I think any of our other followers. Afira is absolutely not the case there. She's an evil craven. And Nizamuddin is an insane empath. Alright, he's a mystic. Interesting, he's a scholar and a lunatic. So, he could be good as a camp physician. Although he's a bit too expensive for my liking, especially since he's 53. That wouldn't be worth the overall investment. Okay. Well, let's see what we can do. We got a couple contracts here. Improvised spycraft. Let's go ahead and do... Well, wait, hang on. Before I do anything else, let's upgrade the camp a little bit more. I think I'll go ahead and get the next upgrade to the barber's tent. Gets us a little bit more income and just kind of boosts everything else that we've already got from there. So, give that. It's going to be done in 7 months. And so, improvised spycraft. Could potentially get up to 59 gold, gain back a decent amount of provisions. And if we got a qualified success, we'd be even more. Okay. Interesting. We'll see how that goes. A small group travels faster. We don't need to go anywhere for this. So, it looks like we're going to be just kind of going around in a circle, and there's going to be a bunch of different events that spawn. So, that's kind of cool. Proactive reconnaissance, Ranikot. All the excitement in Ranikot present is directed solely towards an upcoming lesser feast that Takur Lahia intends to hold. Sadly, the affair will apparently be just grand enough that it has managed to capture the imagination of every halfpenny rumor monger, chattering gossip, and eavesdropping gutter snipe across the city. All talk is focused on who is likely to be invited and who not, what food will be served, and what entertainment the Takur will put on. Not exactly the best environment to be probing for the more strategic information. So, the intrigue challenge here with 95% chance we gain intelligence. So I think for this job we need to gain a certain amount of intelligence to qualify as a success. So anything that we can do to boost our success chance is what we're going to do. So I think we're just going to go for the options that give us the best, best overall chances of success as we go along. Here's another one, 71% chance this time. Now here, 81% chance that using the diplomacy challenge, although I don't know if I would pick that because we're not necessarily, a charming guy. Interrogate whoever we can and let's leave. So we can interrogate somebody, and Takur here would be suspicious of us. So that's a pretty gnarly debuff. Let's just, yeah, stick with the stealthy approach. That worked out. And we keep going. Looks like more contracts just appeared on the map. That's kind of nice. We'll definitely go ahead and do those. Oh, looks like we're kind of snaking around the peninsula, or like the coast here. Alright, the mercenaries of Satyapura. We sit in a quiet, empty tavern in Satyapura when a loud band of ragged-looking soldiers come barging into the common room. Their leader, a confident brute, pushes one of my guards aside and has the audacity to sit down at my table. Noble man, eh, my lord? Interested in the services of the best band of mercenaries in Satyapura? More loyal men you'll never find, at least if you pay us properly. So, you could pay 50 gold to hire 600 mercenaries. I can instead pay 20 gold to hire him as my bodyguard, and he's got, oh my, wow. He's a giant, he's a jungle stalker, he's a strategist, a blade master, a brilliant strategist, has 31 prowess, just like as much as, well actually he's a better fighter than us, ever so slightly, and a better commander, brave, patient, and humble. Interesting. I could kill him. Oh, man. Man, do I do it? I don't know what I do. What would Faraz do in this situation? He had the audacity to sit down at my table. Do I just kill him? I think I just kill him. As much as I would love to hire him, maybe we'll have this event again in the future. Maybe he'll be in a different mood. But excuse me? No. Get the hell out of my face. You're done. Your ass is toast. Goodbye. Alright. The language barrier. It seems that our caravan has become a little lost in these foreign lands. Vahab has been trailing us around Halvad for hours, and though he at last swallowed his pride and asked for directions, he does not appear to be an expert Gurjar speaker. So, I can try, and we get lost. Oh well. That just delays our travels by 7 days. Nothing else. Alright, here's another one of these events. I think this time we might just spend the prestige and interrogate someone. Sorry, this guy already doesn't like us, so what's a little bit extra of an opinion loss? And we did indeed succeed. We excelled at the contract. Alright, ooh, this is another event. The hospitality for a day. The journey has been long and tiresome, and my feet ache so much that my ancestors must feel it. As I feel I'm about to collapse from exhaustion, I feel something heavy weigh on my neck. Before long, I am adorned from head to toe in traditional Gujarati garbs, the streets alive with jubilation. Every househead beckons me to come inside and rest my weary laurels. It would take only a moment to regain my stamina, and I would be welcomed as the guest of honor. Gujarati hospitality is legendary. Can I really afford not to see it for myself? So, I could get pampered by locals for 5 years, lose stress that we don't have, and we just kind of gain less stress going forward. You know, I think we need a little bit of a vacation after that asshole just, like, walked right up and got in our face. That makes sense to me. But of course, that's immediately offset by this. We are walking among the hills late in the day. The darkness comes suddenly, brought by the dark clouds above us. Then there is a distant loud rumble of thunder. Soon, there is another combined with the dazing flash of lightning, and another strike brightly illuminating the area where the after-image burned into my eyes. Oh man, do I feel that. I blink and see where the lighting, that's a typo, has struck. Now, there is a quickly expanding brush fire, and it is spreading towards us. So, 85% chance of success that we put the fire out. Let's give it a try. And we successfully do, so that offsets our prestige loss from earlier. And yet again, another event, the distant shores. I stroll through the market of this strange land. Vendors beckon in an alien tongue, and I am lost in the sea of foreign scents, but strangely this all feels like home. Where else could I taste the delicate balance of aromatic spices, and wash the whole affair down with a delicious mango lassi? To hear the gentle melodies of the bansuri player, or watch the magnificent lotus flowers bloom along the Ganges. Only India. A man walks through Debul, but is he still Faraz? So, I could say, can a man not be both Persian and Sindhi, and that would increase cultural acceptance between the two. I still gotta look at the Persian culture there. Could become, or I could adopt the Sindhi culture. Not gonna do that. Perhaps all Persians should find a home here. Preparing invasion for 15 years, minus 15% chance to recruit men at arms. Actually, that's really nice. We're gonna go with that option there. Oh, look at that. We have 70 dread there. Is anyone afraid of us? Yeah, Firduz is terrified of us. And looks like, yeah, so is Naveed, interestingly. Alright, poor guys. Hey, you'll learn to turn that fear into respect, I promise. As long as you don't do anything against me, I won't do anything against you. Traveling traders. As... Oh, that's another typo. There should say, as I stroll around the market of Kamboika, a loud ruckus comes from just a couple of stalls down from me. There is a furious man, animated and waving his hands. Wali Jahan will have your head for this, he yells at another merchant, who looks, if possible, even angrier. Oh, I would love to see him try. The stall owner dismisses the merchant with a wave of his hand, angrily turning to his bodyguards. The merchant clearly intends to get a deal one way or another. So I could choose to help him out. I would lose 16 gold. I would get an alliance with him, with Jahan here. He's only got 164 troops of his own, and he's not even like a super prominent ruler there. Seems like the perfect time to make some coins. 36% chance that we would get 50 gold, and he would lose some opinion. Otherwise, it's more likely that we would lose the gold, some gold. Could just say we watch the spectacle, go, yeah, you know what, let's go ahead and let's roll the dice here, see what happens. Hey, and it actually worked out. 36% chance, we go for it, sometimes it helps out. Ah, this event. Okay. I was wondering if this was going to happen. So, Jagdeva, the leopard boy, as we travel through the wild lands of Kirata Kupa, I find myself with a distinct feeling of being watched. Hiding, though poorly, I see a frail, dirty boy watching our entourage. A member of our caravan informs me that the locals say these lands are haunted by someone they call Jagdeva, who is said to have been raised far away from human society by a leopard. Apparently, the poor creature has taken a fascination with us and has even started to speak some basic Iranian, though not to any meaningful proficiency. So this is essentially like a Tarzan event. It's a kid who, grew up with animals and discovers us and took an interest in our band. Could say I will train the boy. He becomes our ward. He's at age 7. He's already got 15 prowess, although that is because he's feral, and eventually he will lose that. He is stupid, so if nothing else, he might succeed Vahab as the camp stooge, and he is beautiful, which is interesting. He's rowdy, so we could train him up as a fighter. Yeah. I think we train him. I think that's a little bit more of an interesting choice roleplay-wise. And so, yeah, we have our first ward and also the first child in our camp. So we'll see how he grows and develops over time. Looks like the education focus defaulted to martial, and that's exactly what we were hoping for. I was going to do that regardless. All right, well, but first, before I do anything else, let's get the next martial perk, because I didn't realize that I had not done that yet. We do not have a player heir. Also, we need to find someone to marry. So we might take a look at our requests for someone that we could potentially marry. Definitely not someone who was just born. No, we're not doing that. That's not the kind of Crusader Kings game that I play personally. Alright. Expectations. You are always there for me, and I hope you know that I am grateful. My ward Jagdeva that's another typo. Wow, 3 typos, like almost back to back to back, in a rare display of honesty. Really, he's already saying that. He's quite eloquent, despite being stupid. When I need it, I expect you to be there for me too. We'll just get a weak hook on him. I think that makes the most amount of sense. So, we could get 5 gold, we could get 400 provisions. I think I'll take some provisions from him. We're not going to be sticking around here too much longer. So, but I think we'll take some additional jobs here before we end things off. Kind of clear out this area. Transcribe text? No, not that one. Let's do another heist. Because there was something that I did not do last time that I should have. And that was just because I was in a rush and that was a mistake. But again, before I do anything else, let's take a look at the Persian culture here, because I should have done this before at the start of the campaign. But every single culture gets different bonuses depending on their cultural traditions, and Persian has 6. It looks like out of a max possible of 5, so they must have like a specific bonus here. But Persians are garden architects, so if eventually when we have a land, we would be able to construct royal gardens as a duchy building, so that would be kind of cool. Those are some nice bonuses there. There's the Futuwa. We can recruit IR as men-at-arms, and that's going to be actually the primary the primary element of our military is these heavy infantry. They're specific to because they're regional, and then martial education traits are more valued. There's going to be a lot of decisions that you can take there. And then you also gain some additional bonuses, some extra knights, all some really, really good stuff. Then, water rituals. Characters are less likely to get infected by plagues, which is nice because plagues can be a bit of an issue, especially late game. Diligent trade is more common, so that could explain why we saw quite a bit of that early on. Irrigation experts. So we have a disease resistance. Just naturally, we have less danger in desert mountains, and drylands, and we get more development growth in desert and drylands terrain, plus some reductions to building cost. So that's nice. Again, more for landed characters. Then we have also Beacon of Learning. Children are more likely to get the pensive trait and less likely to get rowdy. So that could end up ultimately, this kind of dictating where we end up developing the campaign, especially once we get some land of our own. Enlightened Magnates. The poet trait has additional bonuses. The poet trait's more common. Cool. And so yeah, there's some additional stuff. So every culture has different things that are positive about them. And just like I said with religion, you can form your own cultures as it stands. All right, let me see. Is this an event that we've seen before? No, I don't think we've seen this one. Scouting out ahead of the camp, I come across a ramshackle collection of traders. They are gathered around some large but old and ruined buildings, the remaining ones in good condition having been occupied by the merchants. Their wares are fairly standard, food mostly, being on a well-traveled road that would no doubt attract many purchasers. Yet, my eye is drawn inexorably towards the gray, pockmarked walls of the ruins. So magnificent they are! The merchants occupy merely the outskirts, but its dilapidated heart remains untouched. So, we can try our luck. 25% chance we find a weapon, 44% chance we find a trinket, 29% chance we discover nothing. And we discover nothing. That sucks. Alright, the trodden path. The procession has ground to a halt a stone's throw away from Nirun. I look over to see my champion Firduus dismounted and intently staring at something on the ground. The other entourage members have gathered around him. Firduus looks up as I approach. My lord, there is an ant path here. I may be a tad superstitious, but you should never cross an ant path. He pauses. My great-grandmother did, and she never returned home. So, yeah. Because we're sadistic, we can say, I have just the cure for your superstition, and we would wound him. So I think that's what we're going to do, because why are you wasting my time? He is terrified of us. He still has 100 opinions, so he's not going to act against us in any capacity. A man of unusual skills. After we have traveled together for a while, I have noticed there's just something about Faramez. Every morning he is up training, swinging his blade around. Even tonight, while everyone else is busy enjoying their food, he is off on his own, going through his awe-inspiring exercises. I can't help but want to emulate parts of his lifestyle. And he can teach me about the blade. It's nearly guaranteed to succeed, and I think we're absolutely going to do that. And we actually failed? Wow! That was less than 1% chance of failure, and we happened to roll it. Insane. Well, I mean, I guess that offsets the pretty decent luck that we had for the most of the first episode, so yeah, that sucks. Alright, let's go ahead and get on with our task. We finally made it to our destination. Good God, that took forever. That is the thing that kind of gets annoying after a little while, is just the sheer amount of events. But like I said, once we start seeing repeats, then I will skip through all of them. And in fact, I'm just going to skip through this job, because we are only going to be sitting here and that... Whoa! Scheme ended? Are you serious? Just as we were about to finish it? our bad luck just continues. All right, well, we gotta find something to make up for this. We're gonna just go somewhere and burn a house down. I think that makes the most amount of sense. Go ahead and just kind of skip through this. All right, this time I think we'll go ahead and just stay quiet. Let's go ahead and go for the stealthy option, and it worked out really nice. So, scheme successful. A good plan begets swift victory, and the now silent muse is mute testament to that. With speed and health, not to mention lack of sober opposition, my followers and I swiftly set multiple fires and retreated with alacrity. The flames did the work, and we simply had to return in the morning to check on the results. From the looks of things, Vali Morteza will doubtless be more than happy to hand over our pay. And so can just walk away with our earnings, or we could, and we will, just let them know it's us all the same, and it gets us 20 additional experience in Bandit. So where does that bring us? So are we at level 2 yet? No, not quite. But at level 1, we get an additional +1 to our Martial, which is kind of nice. So yeah, we gain additional experience there. Alright, and we'll skip right back. Jagdeva, a breakthrough. Oh, okay, cool. Though nobody ever dared to dream it, it appears that there has been a breakthrough in Jagdeva's development. Once a simple child cradled by none but feral beasts, the boy is at least showing progress. Jagdeva speaks in complete sentences and plays with other children his age, as if he had always been one of them. Yeah, well, what other children, if I might ask? Today, after our usual lessons, he even asked me to be his father. So, I could spend 150 renown and go into that negative, and I would adopt him as my son officially. He would become a member of my house, and I think, he'd also become my friend, and I think also that would mean he becomes my ward. No, I'm sorry, but we're gonna go for what a triumph. We get 500 learning experience, a little bit of piety. I think that's the more appropriate option. I want to be able to craft, what a word to use for what I was about to say. I want to be able to have a little bit more input into who my actual firstborn son is. And to that end, let's take a look at the tavern and see who we might recruit. We have Fakta, who is 38, so definitely not the best choice as far as a potential spouse. We've got Ozaraj here, who's 78, and, obviously far worse. Unfortunately, she's also hideous. And so, she's got, those are some nasty debuffs. That -3 to diplomacy, -30% to fertility. Yikes. And a schemer, apparently. Paranoid, wrathful, sadistic, just not a good person. A treacherous villain. And she is likely to die soon. Nangar here is not very impressive, and Yesa is also, he is a lunatic, apparently a witch, which is interesting. But yeah, no one here. No one worth it, at least. We should, you know what, let's go and get this experience in the Hasta Looter trait. Seems like a fun option there. Okay, anyone that we might recruit. Well, should I increase my prowess? Nah, not yet. Doesn't seem worth it. So we've got Zahiruddin here. He's got 20 martial, 12 prowess. He's an aggressive attacker and a military engineer, so those are some nice traits. And he's generous, wrathful, and zealous, so he could be a good fit. Bajala here is also a fantastic choice. How much are they? 78 and 84? Yeah, I think we're going to save our money. We have a decent amount of people right now. And I think before we leave, and I think this is going to be the last thing that we do in this episode, is we're going to go on a hunt. Because I think it's time we've done an activity. So let's have a look. Actually, first, before I commit to that, let me take a look at the camp. I think with our gold... No, I want to save my money for the hunt, just in case we need it. But I will go ahead and get the Roaring Campfire upgraded to level 2. So go ahead and just get that started in the background. But yeah, let's go ahead and host a hunt. And we'll go ahead and just do a regular hunt here. I think this will be... Is there any better options? Doesn't seem like it. That's fine. So, travel companions will scout for talent just in case we encounter anybody. And yeah, 26 gold to do that. Let's do it. As we await the arrival of the rest of the guests, my camp followers can get started on the preparations. The flushers check the scrublands each day for signs of quarry, while establishing a camp closer to the hunting grounds. I have checked my gear and horse many times. It won't be long now. I have no right to hunt here in Sultan Umar's drylands. I must purchase the rights to do so unless I want to be seen as an outlaw and a poacher. Of course, even if I were to secure the rights, I would not be allowed to bring down any animal I wish. Yeah, sod these rights. I hunt wherever I want, and our success chance increases exponentially. Also gives us 15 experience in the poacher trait. Cool. So yeah, screw you, man. I do what I want. And that brings our success chance to 73.5%. That's fantastic. Bahab assembles the party as the sun rises over the camp in the drylands near Debul. The local gamekeepers have scoured the vicinity for recent tracks and fumes. A stout buck is definitely in the area, and the conditions could hardly be better for hunting it. Bahab grins. This ought to be good fun. Alright, let's, should we... Yeah, let's seek out a hyena. I think or should we go for the antelope? It does say buck, so... But part of me just wants to go for a hyena, because that seems like fun. Yeah. Oh, but that would decrease our success chance. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it anyway. No hesitation. We follow our quarry into the dryland, slowly but surely gaining on the cunning hyena. It suddenly spooks, charging away in another direction, and as I move to see what scared it, I can scarcely believe my eyes. Kavus and Navid entangled on the ground in a passionate embrace. Oh, look at that. So, our anemic friend and our bodyguard here seems like they have started a little bit of a relationship. He's got sand in his lungs apparently from the event from that sandstorm event that we had, and that's not going to expire until a few years from now. He could theoretically die if he gets wounded. His health is poor, so that kind of sucks. Back away so I could back away slowly and say I saw nothing. They would both be grateful to me, and they'd be both lovers. I could expose them. Or I could tell them to get up, I feel the beast is nearby. And I think that's what we're going to do. Whatever. They had their moment, they're distracted, but hey, let's get back to focusing on the task at hand, guys. Come on now. You can smash your faces together later on. We follow our quarry into the... Yeah, okay, yep, that's all. Wait, what? Oh, that event just appeared twice in a row. Okay, well, I suppose we just got twice the bonus to our success chance. Alright, my bodyguard, Kurushe, signals across the scrubland. The whole hyena pack crouches in a hollow, not far off. The beasts bolt up on our approach, laughing the alarm as they retreat into the spiny scrub, fangs snarling. We chase after the fleeing brown vermin, focusing on the largest of the group. Now begins the real chase. After it, we ride. It's, of course, more perilous, but I want to maximize that success chance as much as possible. We're up to 80 now. Alright. I pause to quaff from my water skin, savoring some cool relief from the sweat and havoc of the chase. As I secure it at my side, I hear a low whistling noise. An arrow slams into the rocks at my feet, burying itself deeply in the ground. I and those closest spin around, but there is no one there, only the wind rustling through the tall trees. Oi! Be more careful! I could say, and we would gain... or I have gained some stress. This must belong to someone. I could say, assassins, quick, get me out of here. No. You know what? It's an intrigue challenge. Let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. I'm curious. After hours of riding, we are finally cornering the wily beast. Our chase has not been in vain. Whether tired or defiant, the hyena at last halts, turns towards us, and lets out an almighty laugh. The huntsmen quickly surround the growling animal, which glowers at me, its bared fangs frothing and dripping with saliva. Say, I will shoot it. We would gain 2 experience in bow, and it's part of the Hasta Looter trait. Gain 50 experience. So yeah, we don't have any bow experience now. Could say, I will bring down the beast, or I'll bring it down myself. 45% chance that the beast is slain. I gain 100 prestige. 37% chance that I'm successful, but it wounds me, and I might be seriously injured. 70% chance it just straight up kills me. I could say the same sort of thing, but everyone else gets ready. So we work together. 34% chance that the beast is slain. And and everyone gains 33 prestige, 50% chance that 16%, or sorry, that everyone gains 16 prestige, but then someone randomly gets wounded, or 50, and then the 50% chance that someone randomly dies. That's a tough. This is a tough choice. Well, it seems like if I shoot at myself, I just guarantee that it works out, or it's gonna roll the dice. And I think that's more likely what's going on here. Well, I'm not feeling super great about a 17% chance to die, especially since I don't have an heir. So let's see what happens here. The kill. I take aim as the party keep, that's yet another typo, the exhausted animal in place, exhale and loose. The arrow strikes true straight into the beast's heart. That's how you do it. Excellent. We gained 1 experience in bow, instead of 2 apparently, which is kind of weird. Alright, and then for the final event. Hunts like these are a pure joy. I cannot wait for next year. There is nothing quite like the thrill of bringing down a mighty beast. Fahab directs the breaking up, clumsily skinning the carcass before letting the game masters take over. We place the eager dog's share of the spoils on the stretched hide before departing for camp and home. So I could say I'll keep a memento and I become the owner of Hyena Fangs. Be a trinket. It increases our prestige gain by a little bit and decreases the amount of stress that we gain, and also just naturally decreases the face times of any hostile scheme that we do, which is actually pretty nice. And I think we're going to go ahead and do that. It's our first hunt. It was a success, and we gained 200 provisions in the process, which is absolutely helpful. So, now that we've gained that hunter trait, that gives us +1 prowess, and we gained a little bit of experience in the Venator skill as we used our bow. Alright, well, oh, hang on a second. Let me pause the game there, and I think this will be the last event that we read. This comes from the Friends and Foes expansion. A superstitious mind. The last time I saw Firdus, he was surreptitiously getting rid of my yellow hat because yellow is an unlucky color for the people of my birth. The time before, I had to accompany him on a ridiculously long detour to avoid a sleeping black cat. It's unlucky, he said. I don't even want to remember the time he thought he had lost his lucky amulet. However, as I catch him throwing away half of my precious salt just because it had been spilled, I feel my patience wearing thin. Alright, so I'm getting kind of annoyed with Firdus here. Like, I get it. He's a coward. This is his whole thing, and he's just being a little bitch about life. So I could say, but what if it's all true? We gain the trait superstitious, and this would be a permanent modifier. It looks like it's something he has, yeah. And I don't want that, but he would become my friend. No, we're not going to say that. Let me show you the error of your ways. This is a learning challenge, not something we typically see, or not something we have seen so far too often. 34% chance that we succeed to oh my gosh, I convince him to abandon his superstitions. He would lose that trait. He would gain opinion of us. We would gain prestige. We would gain a hook. 49% chance that he's unimpressed and he would just lose some opinion. 16% chance that he persuades us and then we would have the same results as if we just accepted it. Or we could say blasphemous beliefs. We gain 250 piety. And then he would lose 40 opinion. Or we could just say nonsense. And we gain 75 prestige. You know what? Just because I think it'd be interesting, let's try the learning challenge. Let me show you the error in your ways. Oh well, heck, would that be the thing that we do though? We're not particularly zealous. You know, I think we just say nonsense, because that feels the most realistic out of the options that we have there. Cool. Well, I think that's going to be a good place for us to stop, as we are already more than an hour into this recording. So, thank you all so much for watching this episode of Crusader Kings 3. I hope you all enjoyed everything. If you did, please make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and consider leaving a comment if you have any positive things to say or some constructive feedback as well. Anything and all is appreciated. And so with that, I will see you guys next time, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.